Today, in this video, we will discuss the Taylor's scientific principles. The principles of Taylor are called scientific principles because Taylor attempted to analyze every principle in a very systematic order. He first broke down the work which is to be done under a particular principle, and then he decided to work on those broken parts and how much time was taken to complete those broken parts, so that he could get a total of the work time, and then with that details of the broken parts he analyzed what can be the problem or what can be the cause of the problem which is arising in the society and how to solve those problems which are arising in the management of an organization. Now, this particular principle of Taylor is called scientific because every work, first of all, is analyzed in a scientific manner, and secondly, these principles are, the base is not on human judgment, but the base is on scientific analysis of every situation. Now, when we are discussing these principles, first of all, the first principle that Taylor suggested is science, not rule of thumb. Now, we know who was Taylor, we know what was his background, all these things are known to us. Now, we need to know that keeping his background in mind, he will definitely not support personal judgment or individual judgment. So what Taylor supported was science is not a rule of thumb. He said that we are not supporting rule of thumb, but what we are supporting is pure science. What is rule of thumb now? We need to understand that when the decisions were taken in the earlier times, those decisions were based on cause, and we were not based on cause and effect analysis, but they were based on personal judgment. The manager used his judgmental abilities to judge the situation and then decide what is to be done or how it is to be done, what solution is to be given to it. Now, personal judgment is baseless because every person's background is different. Me being a manager will look at a situation in a particular point of view. If you are the manager, you will look at the situation in a different point of view. So herein lies the personal differences. That's why we cannot concentrate, we cannot have personal judgment as the basis, but we must have the science as the basis. This personal judgment is the rule of thumb which we are mentioning here. Okay, so Taylor says that we must not have rule of thumb as the base, but we must have science as the base of any analysis of any problem. We must keep scientific analysis as the basis of analyzing any particular problem which is arising. So how can we make a scientific analysis? We must make a cause and effect study. What is the cause of a particular problem? And if this is the cause, then what will be the effect of it? So if we are going to apply one particular situation, or if we are going to give one particular solution to it, then what will be the effect of that particular solution? This we must see. This is known as scientific analysis, science, according to Taylor. Now, the next principle which Taylor is highlighting here is harmony, not discord. So, Taylor said that we are looking forward to harmony. We don't want any discord between the people. Generally, what happens is that in any organization, the management and the workers form two groups. They become two different paths. Now, when they become two separate groups or when they become two separate paths, then they are not having good, vibes for each other. They are not having good feelings for each other. So, in that case, what happens? There arises a class conflict between the manager and the subordinates. Now, this is a very wrong thing according to Taylor. We must not have this thing in the organization. What we must have is harmony. This type of discord between the management and the worker will lead to organizational malperformance. So in this case, the workers will go on strike, the managers will hate the workers. Instead of this, we must go for harmony. Now, how to go for harmony instead of this type of discord? Because this discord is very normal between the two classes. We can go for harmony between these two classes by undergoing a complete mental revolution of the management as well as the workers. The management must not consider the worker to be subordinates and themselves to be superior. The workers also must give due respect to the management and must understand that the management is not against their individual interests, but the management is for the goal of the organization. And if the organization prospers, then every worker, every individual who is attached with the organization will also prosper. So this is the principle of harmony, not discord. If we can if we can try to give this viewpoint to the managers and the workers, that they must go for harmony and not for discord, or they must try to respect each other, then definitely we will be in a much better managerial environment. So this is the second principle of Taylor. Now we go to the third principle, which is cooperation and not individualism. We must not support individualism. We must always support cooperation. Now, why we should support cooperation? You see, we must support cooperation because when we cooperate with each other, when we are not in competition, but when we are there to help each other, we get goodwill from each other, and the environment as a whole becomes positive. You think about yourself and your sibling who is there in the same family. Now, you and your brother or you and your sister, if you both are always meant to compete each other, what will happen? You will develop a ill feeling towards your brother or towards your sister, and in future you both will not have respect for each other. Similarly, if you are too much individual centric, that means I must fulfill my own goal, but you never look into the overall development or look into each other's benefit, and you only look into your own benefit, then what will happen is that cooperation or sense of helping each other will never develop. So if this is true among siblings, then definitely it will be true in the organization. So in the organization, what is there? Always there is competition between the manager and the workers. Always there is competition between the workers and the workers, as a result of which this cooperation is missing. That's why what we must do is, we must not go into individualism. We must not give rise to this competition, but we must give rise to cooperation. For this, what the management should do? The management should open up its ears for any type of beneficial constructive suggestions. If any suggestions are there which are very constructive for the organization, or which are very good for the organization, if it is being followed, then the management should appreciate such type of employees who are giving such type of suggestions. Not only by doing this, even the workers, they also, for unnecessary reasons, they must not go on strike. For small things, sometimes we see the workers are going on strike. So if this cooperation first starts from the management, then definitely workers will also reciprocate. If they feel that they are part of the organization, definitely they'll not go for unnecessary strikes, or they'll not go for unnecessary lockdowns or lockouts and all these type of things. Now, the next one is development of each and every person to his greatest efficiency. The fourth thing that Taylor suggests is that there must be development, or chance must be given to each and every employee in the organization to develop. Now, how can we do this? We can do this by giving training to the workers. Now, how to train the workers? Taylor said here that first we must begin this from the recruitment stage itself. We must recruit such people who are adequately skilled. We must not recruit anybody and everybody in the organization. We must try to recruit such type of people who will be able to work in the organization even without a training. And those people's skills must be developed more with the help of training which will be given to them. Why we should do this? Taylor said that if an efficient person does a particular work, then definitely the work will be done in a better way. And if the work is done in a better way, the productivity of the organization will go up. If the organization becomes more productive, then definitely the organization will be able to give more salary to the persons, and the organization itself will also grow. So in this way, the whole scenario will lead to a development. That's why we must give more emphasis, or we must give greatest efficiency, or we must look into the efficiency of the people, and we must put in those type of employees whose efficiency is high. And if we have such type of people, we must go for development to the greatest ability. whatever is the ability of the person, we must, through trainings, we must try to develop it to the fullest. Hope you have understood the principles of Taylor, the scientific principles of Taylor, and hope this explanation will help you to clarify your concepts and differentiate between each of these principles. If it is so, don't forget to like the video and don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.